right, I'd like to call the meeting to order. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Kristen Cambenzi,
Here.
Glenn Sarka,
Here.
James Hewitt, Jennifer Cliff,
Here.
Jennifer Ray,
Here.
Cheryl Maddox Smith, Jason Zadunin,
Here.
All right, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Ray, support by Mrs. Klipp. All those in favor? Aye. Moving on to the superintendent's report.
Good evening, Board of Education. Thank you, audience, guests. Have a couple items to go over under the superintendent's report. First one is a program called Labs Unleashed. I'm going to have Mrs. Chrissy Collum come and join me here, and I'll turn it over to her shortly, but if she would be willing to join me here at the podium. So Labs Unleashed. A year or so ago, in conversations with NMU leadership, talking about the partnership between MAPS and NMU and also the needs for our students, we were exploring opportunities. Dr. Testman started it off and then turned it over to some of his team, but explored opportunities how to take advantage of some grant money, particularly 23G, which was money targeting students that were below benchmark. And then also some new facilities at Northern. You may be aware that they have some amazing upgrades. They've done some amazing upgrades. For us, the focus was the Jacob Eddy Center and also the Northern Center, where they house a lot of their career technical education courses. There's just a great opportunity. We took advantage of it. We came up with this concept of Labs Unleashed, a math camp, if you will, where they take math concepts and apply them in a lab setting. And Ms. Collum will talk a little bit more about that. She was brought on board partway through these conversations and just took over the program and ran with it. She created the curriculum, created the schedule, hired and managed the students, the staff, the schedule, the parents, everything you can imagine that happens when you bring teenagers to a university in the summertime for an extensive four-week program. With a lot of different moving parts. So again, I want to say thank you to Northern. I want to say thank you to Marisa, who also worked as a liaison with between MAPS, NMU, and other LEAs in our area, and of course Ms. Collum for taking this concept and bringing it to life. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to her and let her present a short brief on the program.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me this evening. So like Mr. Sedgwick said, I'm Chrissy Collum, and I have been a teacher for 17 years. I've been teaching math and business education courses. 11 of those years I've been at MAPS. I want to say thank you so much for introducing me and trusting me with this program. I am currently enrolled in the Ed Specialist program at NMU right now, and I'm required to get an internship or to do an internship, and I cannot imagine a more involved program for me to be in charge of to gain that experience. It's hitting like every single standard that I'm supposed to hit. So I really appreciate you trusting me with this. So the goals of the program, basically, we wanted students to be able to explore some career opportunities. So the different disciplines that we had are cosmetology, hospitality, welding, indoor agriculture, and construction management. So what we wanted students to do were to basically get into these different disciplines that they had some interest in. They're going to be solving real world problems using math. They're going to be engaging in this problem solving with their peers. They're going to be building communication skills, teamwork skills, and analytical thinking. And then also, this is just providing relevant and meaningful learning experiences for them. We want to show them that math is fun. And so this program started on June 17th, and it's been in session. We are currently in our 4th week, so we took 1 week off for the 4th of July week. And I cannot tell you how much positive feedback I'm getting from the people who are like in the program, so the lab instructors, the classrooms and teachers, but also parents. Like, I have parents emailing me saying, I'm so sorry my student can't make it this week because we're out of town, but please, please, please offer this next year. You know, like, I've gotten just random thank you emails for, you know, doing this program, having it even just out of the blue, like their kids are coming to the program, but they just wanted to reach out and say this is a great program. So I do have a few quotes up there. One of my favorites is, so Ben Smith, he's also a teacher here, and I got him, I went and charmed him and asked if he would work in this program for me as a classroom teacher, and he said it was the very first week, he does the welding program, and he was like, my students were having so much fun doing this. It was a building a bridge STEM activity. They didn't want to go on their break. They did not. I had 2 breaks scheduled during class time, and they did not want to take a break because they wanted to beat the other group that, you know, that on the bridge they were working on. So I have teachers right now who said, please let me know if you do this program again next year. It's so fun. I want to do it again. So I'm really thankful for that. Probably should have flipped through. I have a lot of pictures here for you. So this is indoor agriculture. Students are working on different tasks every day in the lab, but in here, like, they're working on a solution that they're going to put in the soil, and it's all about the pH, and he's showing them how to use like various equipment they have. The students in here actually are growing catnip, and they get to take some home with them. So I thought that was kind of cool. In most of the programs, the kids do get to take something home at the end of the week. So you see just various pictures of indoor agriculture. And then we have welding. So students are using different tools that we use in the classroom here at MSHS in every math classroom, like protractors and compasses and things like that. But I don't even know, what is that called that they're making, that they have a flange. Okay, that's not my world, but that's what their goal is by the end of the week. They're welding. They get a chance to weld and play with the torches and everything. So. And then this is hospitality. I could not believe the facility that Northern has. They have a state-of-the-art kitchen. It's amazing. The kids got to use all the things. So on day 1, you know, they were making yogurt from scratch. The next day, they were making granola. And comparing it to, like, if you go to the co-op and buy a nice bag of granola, like, how much does it cost to make it here? They had a professional chef leading the lab. So she was showing them how to, how to be, you know, save as many scraps as you can, but also to cut cool fruit angles and stuff. And they made fruit skewers. And then on the last day, they put it all together and make a parfait. So, but just nothing but positive feedback going through. This looks like indoor agriculture again, I think. I didn't have any pictures from construction management, but that's actually a back box that they made in construction management. So, you know, for these kids to go out there and actually see like the things that they worked on and made, like, that's really cool. This is cosmetology. They make products every single day, including deodorant, bug spray, face masks, and they get to take all of the products home with them too. So the kids are loving it. And then we should see here coming. That was I guess I went through all the programs. So if anyone has any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them. But otherwise, I really appreciate you guys listening to me talk. All right. Thank you.
What are the ages of the program?
8th graders, like, we took current 8th graders this year through 11th graders. So, like, no one who was graduating, right? So 8th through 11th, they were moving 9th through 12th for next school year. So yeah, I would be so interested in having this program run again next summer. We have enough interest. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Collum. Mr. Lampman's going to switch it over to our next presentation. Just a quick note on that Labs Unleashed. Again, it was grant money targeting students that were below benchmark. So we really did just that. We looked at our scores and targeted kids that were below benchmark in math, and that's who we recruited and expanded from there. So as a former math teacher, it's near and dear to my heart. to watch kids sit there and work with a protractor and compass on paper, but then go into a lab and put it on metal and start welding a flange, with a cutting torch. You can imagine how cool that is for them as well. So next up, I want to welcome, and it looks like she's already here, Marie Ross. She is one of our school-based mental health social workers, licensed master social worker. She does work for the Marquette County Health Department. There are school-based clinics throughout Marquette County, and I think she's going to talk a little bit about that. We have two currently, one at Bothell Middle School and one at Marquette Senior High School. The one at Marquette Senior High School has been around since 2019, and our Bothwell site is a little more recent, 2022. But in light of recent events, I thought it was appropriate to bring Marie up, and pretty soon here I'm going to bring in Alyssa Slattery, another social worker who works for Marisa and is based at the alternative school, to talk about some of the supports that are available to our kids, supports that are available year-round even when school is not in session. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Marie and let her give you a short presentation. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Sedvig, for inviting me to speak today, and to the board for listening. I just wanted to highlight some of our school-based health center services because we are open all year round, and there are some rumors going around that maybe we are just open when the school is open, but that's not true. So I wanted to just remind everyone and give a quick update as to what we're doing, what to expect from us, and just what we do. So just for the sake of time, I could talk about this for a long time, what we do and the difference we want to make in the community. But for the sake of time, I'll just kind of gloss over the basics so that you guys are aware. I'm currently at Bothwell Middle School. I'm part of the E3 program. So in social work land, we love acronyms. And E3 stands for basically expanding, enhancing emotional health. So what that means is it is a mental health facility or clinic housed in a school, staffed by a licensed mental health professional. And in this case at Bothwell and Marquette Senior High School, that is myself and Mary Beth Mellon. We provide on-site comprehensive mental health services for mild to moderate severity of need for all students. Priority is given to the students that are in the actual school. So for example, at Bothwell, my priority is to the Bothwell students first and foremost. That doesn't mean that I cannot see other students or kids in the Marquette community. And that would also include students from elementary schools and even beyond graduation. As you can see, we see young adults all the way up to the age of 21. And why we do that is because we believe that even after the age of 18 and graduation, these students are still experiencing stressors that a therapist could help them with, that they would benefit from services from. We don't turn anyone away due to inability to pay. We, again, are operating all year round, including summer months. And we work really closely with the school, the administration, and the staff. Our funding is specifically through the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, and that is what allows us to be in the school and to provide free services. So this is me and Mary Beth Mellon. So some of the services specifically may include a mental health assessment, longer-term therapy services. So there are resources in the community that offer what we call crisis intervention services. So if there's a crisis in the community or there is something that seems to happen that's very widespread, there are agencies that can provide short-term services to students, for example. We can provide longer-term. Long-term can be up to 1 year or longer, or shorter, depending on the person and the needs that they have. We are essentially an outpatient therapy office, just like you would bring your student or child to in the community. We just happen to be in the school. So we operate just like the outpatient therapy office, providing mental health assessments, therapy services related to mental health and/or substance abuse. we work closely with the student's primary care doctor if there is medication involved or any other chronic health conditions. And we serve ages 5 to 21. And with the special populations being younger and the older students, we provide specific accommodations for them. So if they're coming to my school, I'll make sure that they have a specific entrance and their confidentiality and privacy is kept, and they have specific times that work better for their schedule. We also provide virtual telehealth visits that can occur virtually online or over the phone for those students that are have trouble getting to the school during the summer or vacation time. And all of that is built into consents that parents sign and the like. So this is a list of all the E3 sites that are in Marquette County currently. As you can see, it's not just myself and Mary Beth in the Marquette schools. We also have an E3 clinic at Negaunee High School and also at Westwood High School or the Nice Community Schools. So these are all of my coworkers and colleagues. When something does happen in the community and we need to pull together our resources, we're all connected. We talk to each other. We make sure that each school is essentially housed and staffed with the correct, helpful resources. One of the other clinics or programs that we have available that maybe not everybody is aware of, we have our Child and Adolescent Health Centers. This is a separate grant, still through the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. The difference between this clinic and ours is that they are housed with a medical professional. So that may be a physician's assistant or a nurse practitioner, as well as a registered nurse, a receptionist, and a licensed mental health professional, usually a licensed master social worker. We have the Gwynn Teen Clinic that's been open since 2012. That is our oldest clinic surviving still today. And then we have the Hematite Health Clinic located at the Ishpeming High School. And they are housed in the schools themselves and have medical professionals staffed there, as well as mental health. Some of the services that the Child and Adolescent Health Centers perform, other than mental health services, are listed here. So as you can see, we have free sports physicals, which are very popular in the summer for students because they can get it done in the summer for free and have it ready for before the school year even starts. So that is a big one. Also, immunizations, if they need to get caught up, they don't have to make an appointment at the health department. They can just call the teen center or the teen clinic and the Hematite Health Clinic and schedule an appointment for immunizations if your student needs to get caught up. Or maybe the school is hounding you and saying your student needs this before they can come into school at the beginning of the year. You can call us. So this is just our contact information, the E3 and Child Adolescent Health Clinic information, myself and Mary Beth. Galena Taylor is at the Negaunee High School. Jamie Dearly is at Nice or Westwood. And then we also have Eric Turner, who is the LMSW at the Hematite Health Clinic or in Ishpeming High School, and Mary Harris at the Gwynn Teen Clinic in Gwynn. And our medical professionals are located here with the Gwynn Teen Clinic and the Hematite Health Clinic. So basically, if you have a question about any of our services, you can contact one of us, find us online. I know Zach had put our link up, I think, on Facebook, which is really helpful. So just for services that are local, easy to access, and free. Any questions?
Thank you. Marie, just a quick question. You mentioned earlier that most students turned away as a result of cost, although you mentioned it's just free. Is there a cost associated or a fee structure, or is it free for the students?
How it works is we will take your insurance information and we will have a biller at the health department bill the insurance, but our grant covers the cost of the copay. So you may get an EOB or explanation of benefits in the mail, but you will never get a bill. If you do get a bill, let us know, because that should not happen.
I was just going to ask this maybe more towards Zach. Is this information available on our MAPS website? We don't know yet.
It's probably more readily available on the Marketing and Home Health Department site, which I put out to the parents, Facebook. I don't know that you can access it through our website.
I don't think so. I think they were in the process of getting that completed. We had to talk with IT and get some approval from our higher ups at the health department to do that. But yeah, I agree that needs to happen.
Yeah, it's such a great service for the community. Thank you.
Right, and none of these services are provided without the parental consent. So I cannot see your child or your student without your consent. In Michigan, though, there is a law that allows students or kids 14 and over to receive our services, mental health services, up to 12 visits for free without a parent consent. So keeping that in mind. Medical, though, you always have to have a parent consent. No matter if it's a shot or even just a checkup visit, you have to have that consent on file. And that consent, like any other doctor consent, can be withdrawn at any time. So we, even though we're in the school, we acknowledge and follow HIPAA privacy laws, not FERPA. So it's like your doctor's office. We cannot call anybody without your consent. We cannot talk about your student with anybody else with your consent. And it's kind of nice because it allows the students to feel a little more secure in that they have someone separate, and it gives them some of that empowerment to essentially say if they want us to work with the school or not. And in my experience with middle schoolers, teaching them that skill of asking for help and working with the resources they have, most, I would say 99% of the middle schoolers agree at some point to engage with the school and problem solve with them.
So I'm wondering if you're, throughout the school year, I mean, we know how things can be available and no one know that they're there and available. How is that conveyed to, parents and students like throughout the year? Is it
Well, we start with
without
the
meeting a crisis kind of
right.
thing?
So we start the beginning of the school year with a parent newsletter, or even just a letter that goes out to all parents in the parent packets. I know for Bothwell I do that. I can't speak for my other colleagues, but that's pretty much been the practice. And then with my clients throughout the year, I remind parents, hey, I'm here in the summer. What do you think about having your student come through the summer? I have my own entrance. They don't have to come through the school. It's confidential. This is telehealth, so if they can't get here, they can do it by phone. What do you think about that? And also, realistically, it's word of mouth with the staff. Our staff are great. Guidance counselors, teachers, and administration, Mr. Sadwick, about just reminding people. Yep. Okay, thank you.
So
Thank you, Ms. Ross. I really appreciate you taking the time to come and on short notice. And a similar theme, I asked Ms. Slattery to join us and present a little bit or talk a little bit about the work that she does at the alternative school. She is employed by Marisa, and her services are paid for also by a grant, but this grant is through the state of Michigan, a 31N grant to support mental health services for students. And just I guess a quick testimonial from Mr. Crunkleton, who's been the principal at the alternative school for quite some time, has said, and I think you'd be comfortable with me sharing this with you. He has said that Ms. Slattery and her services that she provides at the alternative school has been, if not the single most, one of the most impactful changes that he's seen at the alternative school. So with that, Ms. Alyssa Slattery, if you would please come and share a little.
Hello, thank you guys for giving me time to talk, and thanks for inviting me. My name is Alyssa Slattery. I'm a licensed master social worker, and I do individual and family therapy at Marquette Alternative High School. So I'm an employee of Marisa, but I'm full-time at Marquette Alternative. It's a lovely place. I
I guess I just wanted to share that. So in the summer, you know, in light of recent tragedy, I do see students that like have met certain criteria and have determined that it could be beneficial to see them year round. I see like a handful of my caseload that I see during the school year, but students that I've been doing trauma therapy with, eye movement, desensitization, reprocessing, is something that I wanted to like continue on with some students throughout the summer, just because of the progress and investment that they had in it. So yeah, we just continued on through the summer, and it so far has been really great. And any student out there that goes to the alt, you know, especially given recent events, especially that was already on my caseload, parents know that they can reach out to me if something were to come up throughout the summer, and I would figure it out to get them in. And then also, you know, if there was a new referral of a student at the alt, then I would be happy to squeeze them in and make a spot for them. So, yep, we just do what we can, I guess. And there's other Marisa 31N therapists at a bunch of other schools. Similar type work as actually like the same work as what Marie does, so I don't need to go into all of that, but just different grant and kind of a different context in the sense of how we're employed. But yeah, it's really awesome that MAPS has funded these things, because I do believe it makes a difference for kids, and you know, them having that opportunity to seek out services on their turf in the school, I think takes down a lot of barriers and has been really, really fruitful. So I don't know if you guys have any questions, but no. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Ms. Slattery. So in summary, we heard from the County Health Department and Ms. Slattery. So 2 social workers, full-time social workers from the Health Department, a full-time social worker from Marisa that covers Bothwell, the alternative school, and the high school, and then 2 of our own district-wide social workers that are full-time, 5 full-time social workers at MAPS. And that's crucial in light of this era that we are working in schools and the needs that kids are coming into our buildings with every day. One other thing I wanted to note under the superintendent report before I turn it back over to Ms. Cambenzi. In the audience today is Ms. Becky Lebrecht, Jacob Phillips, Eric Smith. Eric is a partner from Northern, has helped us with the security cameras. You met Eric before. He's part of this Shiras Planetarium project. Mrs. Lebrecht is our director. Jacob supports the planetarium as well with his technology expertise. But later in the agenda, you will see an action item for a Shiras Planetarium projector, and I just wanted to make sure you were aware that these folks are in the audience, because if you have questions, they're probably better directed towards those folks than me. So anyway, thank you all for coming. Thanks again, ladies, for presenting. Well done. And turn it back over to Mrs. Cambenzi.
Thank you. All right, moving on to approve the consent agenda, which includes the minutes of budget hearing and regular board meeting of June 24th, 2024, the personnel report dated July 2024, and the financial reports of June 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, motion made by Mrs. Klipp, support by Mrs. Maddox-Smith. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Moving on to comments from the public. We have one, Ms. Brum.
Make sure you hit the button there, little light red.
It'll That's right on the right.
Oh, okay.
Hello, Margaret Brum, 404 East Magnetic Street. I'm here to talk about an update to things happening this summer. As all of you know, the recall campaign has begun. We're in the process of collecting signatures. The due date is August 2nd. The number one question I get from people every day, every hour of every day, is how many signatures do we have and are we going to make it? And the short answer is we have a lot of signatures and I don't know if we're going to get enough. That's the bottom line. I don't know. There is no one pattern of a day or a week or a time when I can guarantee you a certain number will come in. I was sitting yesterday in Big Boy, collected my own signatures, and 3 people dropped off filled out forms. So I'm not lying to you. I don't know. I've got hundreds in boxes in my closet, but I need thousands. So I've got hundreds. I'll let you know. What I wanted to give you feedback on is just how many people the decision of this board has hurt. Because when they come to sign the petitions, they don't come with a gleam in their eye. They don't come with a personal, they come with, I didn't understand why the name that I wore during high school is now something bad. I don't understand why I'm now being accused of being a racist because I was proud to wear it. And I don't have any answers for them because I don't understand it either. I myself was written up by 2 of my students at Northern for using obscene language in the classroom this past semester. The obscene language I used was to identify my school as formerly known as the Marquette Senior High School, Redmond. This is a generation of students that have been empowered to be so afraid of a word that they will reach out and attack someone for just using it. And I don't know what's going to happen in their lives if they go out and meet somebody whose last name is Redmond. I don't know if they're going to say you got to go to the probate court and change it because you can't have that name. I don't know. I'm supposed to be tampering down the level of rhetoric because we've all been through another episode of terrible violence. The first time I met your superintendent was at a city commission meeting. He came in, looked around, asked me about public comment. I told him how it worked. He got up, introduced himself, and in a very professional manner, convinced the city commission to support a millage election that was required in order to adequately fund the schools. He was exemplary, and the millage passed. No reason not to. The common sense of it was there. This is my personal opinion based on the comments that I am getting. I don't see how in the future that the Marquette Senior High School is going to be able to pass another millage election, considering that the people you depend upon to support this school with their finances and money have been called in this room by your invited guest racist. And I'm giving you that feedback because that's the feedback I'm getting. Why should they support a group of people who invited someone to come in and call them racist? Again, I can't answer that question. I also have a path forward for the people on the board. If you don't want me coming to these meetings, if you don't want me challenging you, I have a challenge for you. Between now and July 24th, I challenge each and every one of you to resign from your position. And then on July 24th, I'll personally meet you at the courthouse and pay the $100 to file a paper so you can run for it again. I'm calling you out for the bravery that you haven't shown in dealing with people by saying if you really believe your decision is supported by the people of this town, by the voters, that put their money where their mouth is and vote for you, I suggest you ask them to vote for you again. Because I promise you this, if you do that, resign and then run again, and the voters in November vote for you again, I'll walk away. I promise you I will walk away. Because then you'll have convinced me that the people of this town are okay with being called racist by people who don't live here, don't support the schools, and quite frankly by members of the board who don't seem to have expressed an understanding of the history of this town. So that's my challenge to you. If you really believe you're right, resign your positions and run for them again. And then we'll see if the voters agree with you now that they know what's happening. And in terms of the millages, I'm not the one saying you're not going to get them. There's just nobody who signed the petition who's ever going to put a dime into this school system again. That's a problem with winning when you win by calling people bad names, you lose a lot more than you win. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving on to new business. Approve the purchase of of the Shiras Planetarium projector. Do we have any more background?
Sure. So if you look in your packets, there should be a summary. And in the first section, you will see the total cost of $775,200, $359,800 for the actual projection system, $402,600 for the computer system and software, and $12,800 for the 5-year contract, service contract. It's worth noting that, well, let me back up just a little bit. The funding sources that you see on your handout there, again, Shiras Planetarium, they have a group that is taking the lead on fundraising for this project. I've alluded to this in the past, but we have secured $250,000 from the state of Michigan, the MEDC, towards this project, $250,000 from the Shiras Institute, and $221,000 and some change from private donors, for a total of $721,250. Currently, the balance remaining is $53,950. The Shiras, Friends of the Shiras Planetarium, that group is continuing their fundraising efforts, so that number very well could change. The reason we're doing this now is because the projector is very unique and specific and takes a year to build. So even though we're not actually doing the renovation, not planning to do the renovation until next summer, we actually have to purchase the projection system now so they can start building it. But most of the cost is covered by those revenue sources that I mentioned. They continue to do fundraising, and this projection system is hopefully going to be part of a larger renovation of the Shiras Planetarium, which would include seating and lighting and sound. More to come on that, but again, with the year time frame required to build a projection system, we brought this to you now. And beyond that, I think specific questions would be probably best answered by one of the folks that I mentioned previous that's in attendance today.
I have a quick question. So, if I'm understanding, this approximate $54,000 outstanding, and we've got a projector that takes a year, right, to build. If that gap gets closer, you get more donations in, and let's say at the end of the year, when I'm assuming we have to, sort of par out those payments. But at the end, if there's less than $54,000 that we owe, how is that going to be handled?
I actually can probably answer that one. I thought you might ask about the, yeah, right, I at least looked the part, right? So we're gonna write the check, if the board approves, we would write the check for the full amount of $775,200, because the district will own the projector.
I got it.
And then much like a checking account, then the money's gonna start flowing in from all these different sources. So it is a fluid balance, if you will, that will remain, but we would cover that up front and then recover the money later, so it's not necessarily that we would owe.
I gotcha. Thank you so much. Makes sense.
I have a quick question. So all of these costs that are here, what about installation costs? Are there going to be more expected costs with this projector?
Come up. Thank you. This will be.
So the information that you have in front of you is the results of a bid that the district went through. And included in the projector costs are also the projector installation costs. There are other items that we'll be bidding later on as part of this renovation project that the superintendent was mentioned. But for right now, this is an all-inclusive price one of the reasons, in addition to the 1-year lead time in order to get the projector constructed, was to capture some savings. We've been monitoring pricing on these projectors. They typically go up annually. Because of the large amount, by doing it now and getting this under contract, we're able to capture some additional savings.
Thank you.
It's also important to know, it'll include an intensive week of training as well for any of our staff members that we like to train. So it's really a full price.
That's awesome.
Not being an expert on these types of things, what is the duration or lifespan of a projector like this?
This particular projector is guaranteed to have parts for at least 10 years. That's part of the why we chose this particular company. Most other companies are 3 to 5 years. But many people have had this system in place for between 12 to 15 years. And so that's probably a reasonable expectation. The great thing about the Friends of Shirus Planetarium Group is that their work will not stop. After this is complete, they will continue to build an endowment fund. And so our hope is by the time that we reach that point, we'll have the funding to replace the projector in 10 to 15 years.
And how old is the current projector again? I know we talked about this before, but I think it's worth repeating.
Our last projector lasted us about just over 14 years. It stopped working in 2017. So we haven't had digital projection in the Shirus Planetarium since that time. We've been using a MS8 projector, which is from 1992, currently serviced with parts from Napa, with Jacob and I's help. So it's not able to really sustain much longer. Most people there are a few planetariums still using that type of projector, but they've completely rebuilt it. You really don't get a lot more value for it. This projector will greatly expand our teaching ability, not just in astronomy, but in all subjects, allow us to do 360 films with our students. It's just a whole other level.
And the closest planetarium like this in Michigan is Ann Arbor.
Yes, yeah, I would say that's accurate. Ann Arbor, Chicago, that's where we're at. Most of the other ones closer to us are struggling, the same as we are, and have been in systems.
One of the things the bid did include was software maintenance. As you probably can expect, most computer systems now, the real cost is in the software, not so much the hardware. So we've made a calculated decision not to spend additional money on hardware maintenance, but to rather self-fund that. If we need it in the future, part of that endowment take care of the hardware maintenance. But keeping it under software allows us to keep that up to date so that we don't get too far behind and then find ourselves with an out-of-date system that can't be updated.
The other big difference about this too is right now for astronomy, we're only able to show the current night sky as we would see if we all went outside together. This allows us to take people out to the edge of the observable universe, to see all the work in the James Webb Telescope, to really explore things that no one in this region has ever seen in the planetarium. Yeah, and the Friends of Planetarium group, their next campaign is a campaign where they'll involve the community, and community members can join us and participate. You can purchase a star, and so you can make a donation and take a part of it. So we do have a lot of community members that have reached out to us wanting to take a part in it. We definitely need your help to, as you've heard, complete fundraising for the projector and also sustain the planetarium for many years to come. And so we will be launching the second phase of our project very soon.
We've been encouraged so far that the funding you see in front of you has come from private corporations and businesses. We haven't launched the public phase of this yet, so we have a whole other component to the fundraising that's yet to come.
So, I mean, just for the public to see, I mean, what I'm looking at is, for the $775,000, 7% of it is what's remaining. I mean, that's pretty impressive. You've raised 221. I mean, I know I met with you not too long ago, so you've been working hard and have raised that's substantial in such a short period of time. I'm assuming more of this cost will go down, but 7% for the school system to have to support of this, I think is minimal in my eyes. I know there will be additional cost you were saying that would go into seating and that kind of thing. Will we be at some point getting kind of an idea of what that will be?
Yes, we have IDI, Travis Hongesto, who you've met before, is actually going to work as a general contractor, if you will, as a project lead. He was actually the one that ran the bid opening today. I did actually put the figures up on the screen so the audience can see what we're talking about, and you can reference that as well. But yes, this project will be ongoing. Mr. Hongesto will take the lead as far as putting those additional parts of the project out to bid and getting an idea of what the costs would be, and continuing to work with the Shiras Planetarium, Friends of the Planetarium, on where they're at with their fundraising. So it is a bit of an ongoing, evolving project, but we do intend on expanding it and putting that out to the public and then bringing it to the board once those costs are better determined.
And when you said that the private donors, that hasn't gone to the public yet, so those are mostly corporate donors, is what it is?
Yep, they're almost all foundations and corporations, also service organizations. We don't have barely any individual donors or community member donors yet.
I mean, I'm actually kind of shocked. I'm really impressed. No, you should feel very proud. I know.
We have a very focused group. We
Yes.
strongly in this facility, and our team is very, very strong. So you'll be hearing a lot from us in the next few years.
Nice job.
Any further questions? Thank you guys so much. So I would entertain a motion to approve the purchase of the Shiras Planetarium projector.
I make a motion that we approve the purchase of the Shiras Planetarium projector as presented.
Support.
All right, motion made by Mrs. Maddox Smith, support by Ms. Ray. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Yes, congratulations. Great job. Moving on to board member comments. We'll start with Mr. Zadudnik.
No additional comments, thank you.
Mrs. Maddox Smith.
I want to thank everybody here for all their hard work, and the Shiras Planetarium is just an amazing thing for our community, and we appreciate the hard work that you guys have put into this. I know I've been going there for years and bringing our little man there since he was 3. He's 8 now, and it has been so educational and so much fun for our family. So thank you for that dedication.
Ms. Ray?
Well, again, congrats, and very impressive. That's a lot of hard work in a very short period of time. Also, just wanted to say how impressed I am with kind of the collaboration that continues. Since I've been on the Board of Ed, I've only seen it just blossom between MAPS, NMU, Marisa, the County Health Department. I mean, it's an impressive community we live in, and it's really impressive to see what we're offering our students. And I mean, I know that I've got a couple of kids right now working at Donkers twice a week from Marisa. I've kind of come and done interviews, mock interviews, spoken at NMU, and that just keeps going around and around. I mean, I had phenomenal staff that I get from NMU that are locals as well as from out of town. And it's really heartwarming when I can hear all of these great things going on and what the students are getting exposed to at NMU and what we're providing, particularly in Lou. And I just wanted to kind of acknowledge that too. I know there's a lot of heartache going on in this community right now, and the fact that we're, showing support from so many different places is heartwarming when there's so much heartache. So thank you all for all of your hard work. Really appreciate it. It's awesome.
Mrs. Clip.
Well, last month was the budget, and that is so important and kind of hurts your brain after a couple of hours. But this month was all the good stuff, and I love to see all of this. I love to see what's going on one-on-one with kids and the interface between this district. So often we kind of have to take that 30,000 foot view. That's our job. It's what we're sworn to do. But I cannot thank you guys enough. Ms. Cullum, that was awesome. And Ms. Ross, we have talked multiple times in the past. You know that. So thank you for that. And Ms. LeBrecq, sometimes good stuff is worth waiting for. Hallelujah. Good job. Thank you again.
Mr. Sarka?
Thank you. I think it's a good time of year to remind yourself how much we take for granted in Marquette, whether it's going out to Presque Isle or climbing up Sugarloaf or just, appreciating everything we have here. It's a good time to just make sure you're not taking those things for granted and think. I grew up just on the corner of Lincoln and Fair and just took for granted that every school had a planetarium. I would look at it every day and, oh, that's what you get at school, but something Ms. LeBrecq said just brings us all home as we're going to be able to give our students are going to be able to experience seeing the edge of the known universe. Just let that sink in for a bit. They don't have to go on a field trip to Ann Arbor. They don't have to go to Chicago to see it. It's right here in the building, and it's not because we have any longer large industries that are having large endowments that are paying for these things. We have, families like the Kaufmans. We have wonderful community members that raise money for us, and that's another thing. That's as amazing as the fact that we're going to be able to provide that to our students. We're just very lucky, and we shouldn't take it for granted. And hopefully, you know that we don't take it for granted. Just the last thing I would say is, if you're wondering how my skin is so glowing, it's because I use Labs Unlimited cosmetology skin products that I'm sure can be purchased at the school store.
Thank you. Moving on to board president comments, I'd just like to echo what the rest of the board said and just thank you for being here. Thank you for all your hard work and for everything that all of you do for the school, for the district. Announcements and other meetings. August 5th, 2024, Committee of the Whole meeting, hopefully in the Little Theater at 5:30. No?
I don't think that AC unit's going to get fixed by then. I think we should just probably plan on being
Okay,
here.
then we'll be back here then. Okay, so, all right. And then August 19th, 2024, board meeting back here at 5:30. September 3rd, 2024, first day of school. Whew, wow. And now I would like to entertain a motion to recess to closed session in the central office boardroom under section 8C of the OMA to discuss negotiations.
Make a motion to go into closed session.
Support. Okay, motion made by Mr. Zdenek, support by Ms. Ray. Do we need a roll call for this, Linda? Do not. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.